This is The Sphere, an entertainment venue that lies the Las Vegas skyline, boasting high-definition, fully surround screens both outside and in, and the location that Delta Airlines have picked to show off their ideas for the future of travel. This is an arena designed to take us to other places, but what about the tech to physically take us from A to B? This year marks Delta's centenary. One of the oldest airlines in the world, they started as crop dusters before making the jump to passenger travel. But what will their future planes look like?
We interviewed children. You think about the next 100 years of aviation, children are unencumbered with some of the realities of what's required to actually make some of those things possible. And so this idea of when they think about, well, what if a plane could do this, or what if airports look like that? We actually took that into partnership with Airbus and said, well, what if? What might that look like? And it's things increasingly that actually go back to nature, and whether that's geese who fly in a formation where there's uplift from the very first goose with the V shape and things like that.
And like in many industries, there is a big theme that tech can help with.
This idea of sustainability is everything, because the point that people should not have to choose, do I see the planet or do I protect the planet? There's such a benefit from humanity coming together and better understanding each other at the very moment our world is kind of pulling itself apart, that how do you then sustainably enable that to continue to exist for another 100 years? We have got to find ways to take the things we know are possible and make them a quicker reality, not waiting 100 years, but certainly bringing that far forward into the next few years.
What is the timescale of actually some of this new innovation coming to life on your planes?
Some of it is here now, right? A lot of part of the things like upcycling and repurposing of materials, sustainable aviation fuels certainly exist now. The key is how do you get those things at scale, and how do you get supply chains and airport facilities and even countries to embrace some of those technologies, because they exist, but they have to be able to exist at scale. When you think about an airline like ours that carries 200 million people a year, fuel has got to be readily available in all 60 countries that we operate to.
There are, of course, lots of people who say we shouldn't fly at all, it's so bad for the planet. Are you actually just going too slow at bringing in this sustainability?
Yeah, I'd actually push against that in the sense that our world clearly needs connectivity. It needs people to better understand the power and the value of understanding each other. We proved during COVID that Zooms and calls and kind of other technological means of trying to connect are insufficient as opposed to the power of a hug, the power of face-to-face. So I think it's true that we've got to find ways from a technological standpoint to protect the planet, but we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that aviation enables us to connect countries, people, communities, cultures.
For the next chapter of the airline, a new type of aircraft for shorter journeys could be just around the corner.
The reality is there are technologies coming to the market in the next 3 to 5 years. eVTOL, electronic vertical takeoff and landing. Think of a helicopter who's got the ability to turn its blades, so once it's vertically up in the air, can turn them and start going forward or backward. That technology exists today. We'll be showcasing it. And the ability to link people between short flights, whether that would be a Glasgow to London, or for us, Los Angeles to San Francisco, just as automotive did, give people the idea that, okay, how do we make the batteries stronger? How do we make the batteries last longer? And we start increasing the range of those things. That's going to happen, and it's going to be coming fairly soon.
Delta's partner Joby Aviation are currently building and testing their aircraft to get approval to start operating commercial services. But others building similar tech have faced financial challenges. eVTOLs have been touted as the next big thing in aviation for a long time now, yet some manufacturers have really struggled to get them off the ground. A reminder that sometimes the tech of CES is still a long way away. So that's life in the sky. But what about when we land? This is Glideways, a Suzuki-backed self-driving public transport system that initially wants to change how we get to and from airports. They're hoping to have their first pilots next year, with the carts travelling on dedicated sections of road about the size of cycle lanes. But while autonomous vehicle features like self-parking are becoming more common, when it comes to water, Introducing that kind of tech has a unique set of challenges. And this is a boat trying to overcome them.
In this case, you have a system of stereo cameras around the boat, so the boat understands its environment, and it can move itself in all different directions. So you can program it to move automatically into a docking location.
The system here is using cameras rather than LiDAR, which is often used in autonomous driving. That's because the tech has to be able to deal with reflections from the water. And of course, the conditions are very different from the road.
When you stop a car, it stays still, typically. When you set up a boat, it continues to move because there's wind and waves and current acting on it. And then there's a lot of inertia, and it pitches and rolls. Unlike parking a car, it's sometimes difficult to know what a dock is. Boats pull up against a lot of different structures made of wood and concrete, so we have to be able to recognize all that variety.
A vessel like this doesn't come cheap, but something more affordable is their electric hydrofoil flight board. Or even better, a ride on the simulator, where if you fall in the water, you don't get soaked.
Smart glasses are often touted as the next step on from the smartphone. Maybe we'll use them for calls and messages, and all sorts of information could flash up before our eyes as sound is directed into our ears. And this year the CES show floor was awash with them. It feels early days.
The screen keeps going off.
But with some impressive functionality emerging, many a tech company seems to have their eye on the prize.
This is amazing. The Ray-Ban Meta glasses have been around for a few months. I've got a pair for the sun here. They also come with clear lenses. Their main aim being to create content. So you've got cameras here that can film and microphones in them. They can also be used as audio sunglasses if you want to listen to music or if you want to have a chat with someone on the phone. But new features are coming soon, and they're all based around AI. First up, it's time to translate a book from Spanish to English. Hey Meta, translate this book.
No joy at first.
I wonder if it's because I keep looking at the camera.
Let's try again.
Hey Meta, translate this book. It thinks it's a blank book.
Holding it up in front of my face might just do it.
Hey Meta, translate this book.
For a moment, the cameras are stuck on Peter's downturned gaze while everyone assimilates what he just said.
It's reading it like an audiobook. May have been a glitchy start, but this is great. You can also just keep the AI function on for half an hour and do all sorts of things. Hey Meta, tell me what's in front of me. In front of me is a person, that's Yasmin filming, 2 chairs, some things on the table, including some promotional material, which is a CES magazine. That was seriously impressive, and the sound quality was absolutely amazing too. There are 3 to 4 hours battery life available on them, but the case also charges them. It can give it an extra 3 charges throughout the day.
Halliday's glasses have a different focus.
I've actually got a screen in my field of view over there which allows me to read words, so it can translate, it can help me answer questions if I'm having a conversation to make me sound really clever, because it connects via your phone to the internet. To control what function you're using, you can either swipe the side or through this ring there's a little touchpad on the back, and so you can scroll up and down. Now I'm going to put it to the test with a spot of translation. You're going to speak in Mandarin, and I'm hopefully going to see the words come up here in English.
应该在翻译我说的话，因为现在外面很吵。
It seems to be a bit behind, and the screen keeps going off.
我现在在和你讲中文，你可以听到我在说什么吗？
I'm talking to you in Chinese right now. Can you hear what I'm saying? I can not only hear it, I can understand it. How's the battery life?
The battery life lasts longer than 12 hours, so
Oh, wow.
you can use it for the entire day.
That would be a very long conversation.
There were some challenges with internet connection and noise on the show floor, but even when the projected screen worked well, it never really felt comfortable to look at. A proof of concept, yes, but a perfected experience, not quite. Now, most glasses are meant to aid your eyes, but how about your ears?
There are many people who could benefit from wearing a hearing aid, but they don't. Sometimes because they simply don't want it to show. So how about an invisible solution that can be combined with a pair of glasses?
These are the Nuance Audio smart glasses, which also have speakers on the side, but this time to amplify all the sound around or boost people's voices. The accompanying smartphone app allows you to choose the right settings for your environment.
Let me demonstrate. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I've got some eggs and a cappuccino.
Now that sounded louder to me, whilst the background noise didn't. And that's because they're a directional microphone, so whatever I'm looking at is what I'm going to hear louder. Now, the sound quality is really clear. It can be a little bit tinny, but we are in quite a difficult environment here in the middle of the show floor. The fact is, they do isolate the voice, they do make it louder, and they do what they say on the tin.
Smart glasses can clearly provide an array of benefits, perhaps some you never even knew you wanted.
Hamelow's glasses are all about colour change. So this pair can be worn with lenses, or you can have a sunglass version, and by just tapping the side, you change the colour of the glass. Pink, blue, orange, clear, so whatever the weather conditions are, or whatever you're getting up to, you can make it appropriate. If you want something sportier though, then these are audio sunglasses. You can listen to music in them. You can also make phone calls. There's a microphone and speakers here just above the ears, and you can adjust the brightness. So if you're in bright light, you move it like this and the lenses become darker. When things get a little bit darker, well, there you go. You can see better.
As the early days of tech trends go, some of them seem impressively up to the job already, whilst others feel like an early generation of an idea to be built upon.
And that's it from us in Vegas.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what things we've seen in the last couple of weeks actually do take off. I always think it's really difficult to tell.
Well, it's certainly been fun and fascinating and very Vegas.
Yes, yeah, definitely that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon.
Bye.